someone or some people that are not afraid necessarily of potentially getting into danger there.
Watch me
To
find
Devin's
it.
earlier point,
After
really
you
seems
buy
to
it.
be almost tempting
This
fate
fine,
with the
good.
amount of close calls we've seen in just the last 10 minutes of cars making a right turn or making a left turn and weaving in and out of traffic, driving on the opposite side of the road. And then the other point here is that this vehicle's a Mercedes. So to Dev's earlier point, it zooms incredibly fast.
And also, as we're back on the wrong side of the road, which is so incredibly dangerous, we've also not heard that this car is stolen. So they likely know who the registered owner is. They likely know the suspects that are inside, which could give a whole other, if we go back on the right side of the road here on Artesia Boulevard, could give them a whole other set of scenarios as to why they don't want to not stop chasing this car. They are chasing it hard. It is a robbery suspect. They were in tracking mode for a little while. The watch commander that is in charge of the pursuit right now said, go back into full-blown pursuit mode. Let's get this guy. And they're trying. And to Des's point and your point, LAPD is not behind him because they don't want to be. They're struggling to keep up with him. They're struggling to catch up. They're not going to drive on the wrong side of the road like he is. Oh gosh, as right goes to go through that intersection. So they've got to try to still follow some of the rules of the road. They'll obviously have their lights and sirens on, and hopefully people get out of the way. But they're not going to make the maneuvers that this guy is making, which is putting everybody in such danger. This is
shit! Look,
they're
chasing a Mercedes.
If you're listening
that
to
robbery suspect
or
is live.
see all of this activity, be aware. Look out for that spotlight. Look out for the police lights that are behind you, and be very cognizant of what's going on down there because this guy is driving very, very crazy.
And another note there, we noticed several people standing on the sidewalk as well. We know the attention that these types of pursuits tend to get from people who are either watching on television or perhaps in their own neighborhood. They step out and want to see it. And again,
look,
this right here is the height of concern because we've seen that exact image multiple times. And the more it happens, obviously, Mike, you increase and Desmond, you increase the risk because you're introducing more variables. Every opportunity, a potential opportunity that you're getting in there to get into a collision.
He's going to take a left or right?
Running into somebody and just avoiding it. He is not, or that suspect is not necessarily putting themselves in a safe position. And then that goes to LAPD, who is chasing behind, because you're also not going to put yourself in a position to increase the number of cars potentially weaving in and out of dangerous situations.
Right, and they obviously have no regard for their own safety or anyone else's safety at this point. I mean, that's why we put these pursuits on TV, right, is to warn the public of a safety issue, a safety threat that is happening, especially with this guy who is doing absolutely anything he can to get away. I want to ask Des, did we lose the Night Sun, Des?
No, it's still there. I think they're
there's
just
a unit right
really
behind him.
Yeah, they are right behind him. Wow, just ridiculous. I mean, this is so terrifying for everyone out here right now. That's at least the dozen really insanely close call that we've had just within inches right there of ending in a potential catastrophe. I mean, the speeds were kind of low there, but still just absolutely ludicrous what we're seeing here. And you see like some smoke coming from this vehicle occasionally. I think if that's brake dust slamming on the brakes or what, or rubber burning, just kind of speaks to how insane the driver of this vehicle is right now. And I'm still trying to determine what model it is, but I'm starting to wonder if this is maybe an AMG, one of the upper, top tier vehicles, just for the way that they've been driving it and the way that it, frankly, has been able to avoid catastrophe so far, as we're starting to see
that helicopter's
damage
on
again
his
on the
ass.
rear
They ain't no getting away
passenger
from
side.
that.
So now is 70, 80 miles an hour on Western Avenue.
Oh, he's wilding.
It's just all
insane
danger out here. As we're through the South Bay, we're almost making our way to where the 91 turns, where Artesia turns to the 91 freeway, but instead making this turn onto Western Avenue. Just really kind of holding my breath through every intersection here.
Absolutely, and certainly
flying
that
through
spotlight has
intersections
not
crazy.
lost track
You know,
of the vehicle
California
there. Just to
got
point
big
out
ass streets,
that as
bro.
LAPD continues this pursuit, they are maintaining a steady eye on this suspect. But just right there, the brakes are hot. Exactly on this suspect's car as they keep weaving in and out of traffic. You're hoping, and as Des pointed out, you're holding your breath because we've seen too many of these close calls in just these last 15 minutes. So you're hoping that something can get figured out here in terms of corralling this suspect. But the other thing here, as we're approaching 5 minutes past the half-hour mark, in case you're just joining in right now on this high-speed chase of a robbery suspect. This is a known robbery suspect to LAPD, wanted for robbery. Started westbound on the 105 and now there on in Torrance. It seems like weaving in and out of traffic, 405 South
He's using his blinkers
right now, and this is just Oh boy.
Still uses his turn signal, which always.
Look, I just said that shit.
That's certainly an option at this point. But you know, we've noted several people on the side of the street just a few minutes ago taking a look at this, but now dealing with a bit of more open space, let's say, here on the 405 North.
And we're going to have some, and I think, we are going south. Okay, I thought we were going north for a second. So we'll be able to follow this. If we went north, we'd have LAX and flight restricted areas. But wow, Des, surface streets was fast, and now he is just like really pinning it on the freeway.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if this is better or worse. I mean, now at least we're all going the same direction, but it just kind of gives him the opportunity to just slam on the gas pedal even harder and get up to well over 100 miles an hour. And you can see a little bit of the low visibility there coming into the frame as we make our way through the South Bay. We'll see how these clouds, if they are hopefully going to cooperate with us here, but weaving, zigging and zagging all over the place, in and out of the carpool lane. Haven't had to go over to the right shoulder yet. I mean, the freeway at least is open, and there's not as many people for him to collide with, or certainly like a head-on collision or something. So I mean, none of this is good news. Wow, we're really close there, cutting that box truck off. So it's still a very dangerous situation, even though at least we have traffic all going the same way.
Nah, he's cutting up though.
Situations here where, again, there's that turn signal use for some odd reason here in the middle of this pursuit. But characteristic of the last 25 minutes, whether it was on surface streets or now here on the 405, is this Mercedes weaving in and out, slamming on the gas and then slamming on the brakes. We noted also that there was damage to that passenger side back door, and noting that this was a suspect that very clearly has no regard for his own safety as they were trying to get away. But Mike, the thing is too here that you noted as well, this is a known suspect, so you essentially have the playbook on this person.
He just ain't trying to go to jail on a Friday.
Yeah, for sure, and it speaks a lot to the fact that they don't want to let this guy go and try to get him later. We've seen that in instances before where they say, you know what, we've got the plate on this, we know where this guy lives, we're going to catch up with him later. LAPD is not interested in catching up later. They want to catch him now, which leads me to believe that there are some pretty serious allegations against this person, some pretty serious wants. We're working with the LAPD to try to figure out if we can get some more details about this alleged robbery and when it happened and all of those things. But again, the car, as far as we have heard, has not come back stolen, which means they know who at least the registered owner is, and it probably gives them a good idea of who's inside and what that person might be accused of. And again, if this car was used in a robbery and what that robbery was is all still details that we're trying to sort out. But just really, really wild speeds here as we go southbound on the 405. We'll be approaching, kind of the Carson, going through the Carson area right now as we continue to chase this, and the speeds are just really incredible. And as you see SkyCal's shot kind of get back there, that's because of two reasons. We're dealing with some weather and also trying to allow the LAPD helicopter to have as much space as they need to conduct their operation, but he's going really fast. So Dez is going to try to work on reacquiring that shot. You can even see one of our positioning lights bouncing off the fog. That's the white that you see coming through the screen there. So, dealing with a lot up there, and they're doing a great job. But it is difficult because this guy is cruising. And
Mike, I'll have a question for you, but first I want to get to Desmond in here because we're noticing on the camera here, Des, that there's clouds, there's weather. How is that impacting you guys up there, and how could that potentially impact the LAPD chopper as well? Because and you've noted that you're trying to give them space as well to operate freely.
Yeah, I mean, we're all just kind of bunched up a little bit. I mean, that's why we kind of have to keep this shot
he probably got to go
wide to obviously allow them to be in the front of that.
Wait, I think they lost them.
Boy, we keep with that. You see the fog. That's not the right vehicle. Well, now we've got I've got the position lights like Mike just said, kind of bouncing off the fog. We do have unfortunately visibility is a little bit lower than it was when we first got on this pursuit. And you're just kind of seeing everything that we're dealing with right now. So LAPD's, see if we can reacquire that vehicle with the spotlight. I mean, I see them overhead, but we just heard that they lost it as well. We're hearing up here.
You got low, man.
There you can see them frantically looking around. It seems like we all kind of lost it at the same time. We're in Long Beach's airspace now. trying to communicate
No,
safely
he
with
got
them.
low.
There's other aircraft up here.
How long is
We've
that
got
in
lower
jail?
visibility
I
as
don't
well,
know. I don't
and a
think.
suspect that's just so desperate
Or
to
would he just
escape,
have
and
to pay?
Oh, I think
they're
they found the
trying
car.
to reacquire this vehicle, but
Say it
If he's
again?
going
all of a
fast
sudden
over
kind
there,
of,
they're gonna find it.
in the
Yeah.
dark, and this is exactly what you didn't want to see. And
Damn,
there,
yeah,
no, I don't
wow.
think Wardlow and 34th is what we're hearing now. Maybe
Nah,
one of
he
the
got
ground
away.
units
He was
has it. Let me just throw it back to
moving.
you guys here
Yeah.
for a second while I try to reacquire
I
this
wonder,
vehicle.
like, if
And
he
Michael,
just
what I
has
was going to
to
ask
pay
you
a-
as we,
well, no,
excuse
you'd
me,
have
as
to
we
go
allow
to jail
SkyCal
Because he
to
did a robbery.
reset
He
and
did a
Desmond to
ro-
reset
yeah.
and try and
And
find
if
this
it's
vehicle
over
is that what we
certain amount, you
notice
have
is
to do
that
time.
from the location where this pursuit started to then jumping there and getting on the 405, how does that potentially impact? Go ahead.
Sorry, really quick. They're
Yeah.
out. They're out of the car at Wardlow and 34th. Desmond's going to look for that right now. We've been obviously talking about that issue, but
You
there's
think they left the
Wardlow, and then I don't know
It'd be smart
if
if
it
he left
crosses
the car. You know what I
34th
mean?
or where exactly that
Yeah,
is,
and
but
went inside
we
and
just
took
heard that they may have
over.
foot bailed.
I don't even know.
Do we know if
he
it was just one person or multiple suspects at
They
Well,
it?
don't
that's what
even
I'm
know
trying to
what it
listen
looks
to.
like yet, right?
Wardlow
just
and
know the
Pacific
plate, I
Des too
think.
as well. That's kind of
Yeah.
that intersection on the left side of the screen there. So somebody's got eyes on them, and hopefully we'll start to see some units. Oh, I think go left, Des.
Oh, no,
And
someone
it's
has
two people
eyes
out on
as
foot, by
well.
the way.
Two
And it
people.
may be in there's the spotlight. So we'll see if we can catch them running or see where the spotlight's exactly looking at. But that's the problem. And usually we see this
Look,
when
they got a
LAPD goes into
helicopter.
tracking mode and they don't have any units close behind. That's not what happened here. This was a good old-fashioned. That car outperformed the cops.
Yeah.
And the weather didn't help at all. And
You
now
think,
we're in
like,
a situation where
California
they
got,
got
like,
enough
nice cop
leeway on
cars.
those cops. That's the abandoned car right there, sitting in the middle of the intersection.
The
So
abandoned
that's where they
one?
ditched it.
Nah,
And that's where
bro,
they got.
Trentis.
Okay.
Is that a different car?
Has
What's
his
happening
lights
there?
on?
No, that ain't the car. They
No,
on the
yeah,
car.
this is a different vehicle. I wonder if maybe they got hit by
Oh.
that or something. But my pilot,
It's a
unfortunately, is
Durango.
telling me that we have to get out of here. I think it's just starting to
They
get a
said
little
it
bit
was a
too
Benz
dicey
or
as far
whatever,
as
Huh?
They
the
were in a Benz,
low
right?
clouds
Yeah, they're on a
go.
Benz.
Very unfortunate, but at least breathing a little easier, knowing that the suspects are out and no longer driving like total maniacs and endangering people's lives.
Certainly, when you consider especially that vehicle and how fast it was going, there's at least some silver lining in the fact
Right.
that the car has stopped and those suspects are out. But once again, two suspects were told
The car stopped.
jumping
We didn't
out
even see
of
the
that
cars.
vehicle after a lengthy pursuit.
That's the
Video
thing
from
earlier.
earlier there on the right side of your
Yeah,
screen
look,
when
they
we were
crashed it.
highlighting just
yeah,
the
look at the
dangerous
door
pattern
in
of
the
Yeah, they're
weaving
right
through
in the whole
traffic,
curve.
driving
You
on the
see
wrong
that?
side of the road. Once again, these were suspects
That car
wanted
stopped.
Oh
for
my God.
robbery. LAPD
That
started
car
that chase,
stopped.
and eventually that
That's a
chase
nice car, too.
continued onto the 405
It was a
before
nice
a
car.
variety of factors such as wind, or rather fog, weather complicating
mean,
things.
I
But now
can't really see,
that
never
pursuit
mind.
continuing, looking for the suspects. We'll continue to keep an eye on this, monitor it for you, and of course we will have the latest information
See it all
coming
linked
up on
up in
KCAL
the
News
back?
at 8.
Yeah, they hit it. Not the opposite lane of travel? Oh, that's crazy. Damn, they got low.